Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. This morning, we're on location at South Ridge Mall, where CW18 and My24 will be hosting Family Fest 2015 on Saturday, February 7th and Sunday, February 8th. It's a weekend of fun for the entire family that will include celebrity guests, some of your favorite costumed characters, local talent and businesses, plus a whole lot more. You can log on to CW18Milwaukee.com for all the details. And as we get back to the issues, my next guest is here to fill us in on American Heart Month and all of the activities you have to look forward to throughout the month of February. Matz is the Communication Director for the Metro Milwaukee American Heart Association and American Stroke Association. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Always a pleasure to have you here. And as I just mentioned, February is American Health Month. So as we make our way into February, what are some of the things we should know about the reasoning behind this whole awareness?
Well, what we're trying to do is let people know that heart disease, including stroke, is the #1 killer of Americans. It's the #1 killer of people across Wisconsin, about 30% of all deaths. But the good news is a lot of it is preventable. 80% can be prevented if people just make healthier choices. And so that's not smoking, it's exercising regularly, and it's eating a healthier diet. So what we want people to do is start to talk about that with their family and their friends and really kind of take stock of your own life and think about what can you do, what steps can you take to start living that healthier life so that you can prevent heart disease and stroke from impacting you.
It's so important, especially when we're looking at numbers like 30% of the deaths right here in Wisconsin. And so I'm guessing there are things that we all consciously need to be aware of in order to live a more heart healthy life. So one of those things would be eating.
Yes, and what we're telling people a lot of times, people have a lot of extra sodium in their diet. That's just across the board for Americans. We eat a lot of extra sodium and also a lot of added sugar. And those two things combined, that added sodium affects your blood pressure, and that leads to a lot of heart disease and stroke. And a lot of that comes from processed foods. It comes from processed foods, restaurant foods, things like that. So when you're buying something out of a box, it might be easier and quicker to make, but there's a lot of extra sodium there. So we're telling people as much as you can to make stuff from scratch. And sometimes it might take a little longer, but it doesn't usually really even cost that much more, but you can, it's amazing how much sodium we can take out of your diet just that way. It's not, people think it's a salt shaker, you know, I just want to use that when I won't put extra salt on. There's a lot already in there. So we want people to pay attention to that and read your labels when you're grocery shopping, that kind of thing, read that. And then when it comes to the added sugar, most of that comes from what we drink. So that's sodas, sports drinks, energy drinks, and fruit juices that have added sugar. We get most of our sugar from there, and it's just empty calories. Obviously, that adds to people's weights and can get them to an unhealthy weight. It also increases the odds that someone will get diabetes. And so those are two things that we can do. We tell people, like with the sugar-sweetened beverages, you don't have to cut it out completely right away, because for a lot of people that's hard. But if you limit yourself to 36 ounces a week, you can get to that healthy range of sugar. That's only 3 cans a week, or 1 bottle and 1 can. And when you think about how much are you actually taking in a week, most people are over that.
Oh yeah, especially people who are using it to get through their work day and constantly at the vending machine. So, I mean, though you're talking and I'm going guilty, like, you know, but a lot of things that I notice, one of the things when people are shopping, they have a tendency to go for the low fat, but if you pay attention, whenever it's low fat, there's more sodium.
A lot of times there is a trade-off. You know, stuff like even, you know, something that might seem healthy like a whole grain, that might have more sugar or more sodium. So it's really important to watch that, and it's important too to know your numbers, because if you have high blood pressure but your cholesterol is good, then you can start making decisions based more on how much sodium you take in. If you have good blood pressure, but your cholesterol is real high, then maybe those are the numbers you want to pay more attention to. You want to kind of keep an eye on everything. But if you kind of know your numbers, talk to your doctor and see what do I need to work on, it can help you make those informed choices when you're shopping.
Yeah, and the reason this is a great time to have this discussion because people are still consciously aware of what they're eating and what they're doing in order to live a healthier lifestyle coming off their New Year's resolution. So some people are still hanging in there, so this is a great reminder as to why they just need to keep at it. And I wanted to talk about some of the things people could do physically in order to make things better for themselves, especially when we come to heart health. So as an adult, how much exercise, what's the minimal amount of exercise I should be getting?
An adult should be getting 30 minutes 5 days a week. And for kids, they need more. They need 60 minutes every day, 7 days a week. For adults, sometimes at 30 minutes 5 days a week, it sounds like, well, how am I ever going to do that? It doesn't have to be 30 minutes in a row. It could be 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, and 10 minutes at the end of the day. As long as it's 30 minutes in the day. And it doesn't have to be going to the gym and working out. That's great. But you can just take a brisk walk, and that counts. So being able to get your heart rate up, get out, get active. You know, people all say in Wisconsin, what am I going to do? It's the middle of winter. But we're here today at Southridge Mall. And if you come here in the morning, the mall walkers, it's packed with mall walkers, you know, and you can come any time of day and you can easily walk around here for a half hour and get your walk in.
Yeah.
We tell people, make sure though that you're pushing yourself a little. Taking that leisurely stroll isn't going to do it. You should be walking fast enough that if you tried to sing, and that's not talking about your singing talents, but if you tried to sing, you would be out of breath if you were doing that. So, you know, you might need to start a little slower, but then as you get going, you need to keep pushing yourself to get the benefit.
That's a great point, Jay. And I think it's important to talk about some of the signs of heart disease or some of the warning signs that people should be aware of, just in case they are or someone that's around them is having a heart attack. What should they do and what should they be looking for?
Well, the first thing is, you know, for men, they're more likely to have that traditional, what you'd think of in a movie or TV, the grab
Fred
your
Sanford
chest.
is what I like to call
Here
it.
comes the big one, you know. And it's and that pressure and pain in the chest that is kind of hard to ignore. But a lot of times women have very different symptoms. They can get very nauseous or sweaty. They might get pain in their neck or their jaw that kind of radiates down an arm or something. And a lot of times people play that off as, you know, I slept funny last night or I ate something that's not agreeing with me. But when we talk to people who are survivors, they say, I knew. It was different. This was a pain I'd never felt before. This was something I had never felt quite this way before. And if you think that's happening, you need to call 911. We tell people, you know, don't try and sleep it off. Don't try and play it off as something else. You need medical attention as quickly as possible.
Wow.
And so it's the same thing with stroke as well. It becomes dangerous when people, they might think they're just having like some really bad headache or something, but if it's something you've never had before, you need to talk to a doctor. Don't just call your aunt and say, hey, what do you do for your migraines, or just try and sleep it off. That's where you can get in trouble.
Yeah.
You need medical attention.
Yeah, it's always better safe than sorry. And you have a lot of exciting events that are coming up throughout the month of February in order to kind of give people a better idea of what they can do when it comes to health. But there's also a lot of exciting things that you're doing specifically for women, and that's the whole Go Red campaign. So we have enough time to fill everybody in on how they can become a part of some of these events.
Yeah, we've got things going on all through February, and we have, like you said, we're trying to educate people at all these. We try and make fun events, bring them to where people are, but also have education there. So the first one we have coming up on February 4th is a movie event that's taking place at the Majestic Theater out in Brookfield, and the idea was to reach out to the Hispanic community. So everything is going to be in English and Spanish, but we actually landed the national premiere of the movie McFarland USA. So that it's not premiering around the rest of the country until later in the month. And for $10, you can get a ticket. You also get some salt-free gourmet popcorn to go with that. And then there's going to be hands-on CPR demonstrations, blood pressure screenings, healthy cooking demonstrations, so there'll be a lot of education. And people, if they want to get tickets to that, they can go to heart.org/Milwaukee or go to lightscamerahealth.org, and you can get tickets there as well.
Okay.
Then on Friday the 6th of February, we have National Wear Red Day, and that's a day you'll see a lot of anchors on TV wearing red. We ask people to light buildings up red, but we ask people, just everyday public, to wear red as well, and then talk about it. Talk to people. You know, the reason I'm wearing red is because I'm taking charge of my heart health, and I want you to do the same. So it's kind of to start the conversation, raise the awareness. And then another really fun event we have, this is new for this year, on February 12th, we are doing a live streaming party for the Red Dress Collection, which is part of Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week out in New York. And so we're going to be live streaming the Red Dress Collection, which is all celebrities wearing red dresses, and that's going to be at the Milwaukee Public Museum on their Dome Theater screen.
Oh, fun.
So that, again, that is a $20 ticket if you buy in advance, or $25 at the door, and those can be found at goredmilwaukee.org.
Okay.
And then we have our Go Red for Women luncheon that comes up in May.
Yes.
And that's where we kind of celebrate everything we've done with women for the year.
Well, you certainly have a lot to celebrate. You're doing outstanding things in the community, and I thank you, as always, for stopping by to fill us in on everything that's gone on for American Heart Month. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you for having me on.
It's always my pleasure. Jay Matz is the Communications Director for Metro Milwaukee American Heart Association, American Stroke Association. For more information on anything we've discussed, you can log on to heart.org/Milwaukee. And don't forget to mark your calendars and join us here at Southridge Mall for Family Fest on Saturday, February 7th and Sunday, February 8th with CW18 and My 24. That is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take yet another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.